Okay, everybody, Stephen Key, I'm back, and today I have someone that I just met just now, basically. But what's remarkable, this woman is knocking it out of the ballpark. She knows how to get it done. She's extremely successful, and we're going to find out how she's doing it. Marcy, thank you for coming on InventRight TV.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Well, you're doing something right because you're successful. You've got products that are selling on it's QVC, right? Is it?
I was on QVC for a while. I'm
Okay.
now at HSN. It's interesting. I started at HSN and then I went over to QVC for a bit, and now I'm back where I started.
Okay. People are really curious about that that venue of shopping because the products are great, by the way. It seems like when people get hooked on that platform, they buy because the products are great, aren't they great?
Yeah.
I mean, the quality is wonderful, right?
I really think so. And I have to be honest, when I first started, I actually started, I was on an invention reality show that Kelly Ripa did years ago, and it was tied to HSN. So the winner would have her product, it was for women inventors, would have her product marketed and sold on HSN. So, knowing that I was going on this show, I had never seen HSN before or QVC, and I thought I better watch this just to get familiar with it. And so I started watching it, and I was hooked
Okay.
immediately. And now I get it. I understand all the fanatical shoppers, but not only hooked because they do a great job with the presentations, but once I started getting the products, the quality really was there.
Mhm.
And if it wasn't there, they were going to make it right. And
Okay.
then once I did get a product on, I learned firsthand what a grueling QA process they have.
Okay.
And I was so frustrated as the person with the product having to go, jump through all these hoops to get my product approved. I mean, just the packaging and the shipping, it has to be so perfect.
All right.
Um, that it was so frustrating, but as a consumer I love it because I
Okay.
always
It's
know
good
it's
stuff.
going to be what they say it
That's
is.
good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So let's start at the very beginning. I mean,
Hmm.
how do you invent and then how do you go from inventing something to be selling it on QVC? I mean, that seems like I'm over here, but now I'm over here. That's a big jump. Did it happen quickly? Did it take time? Tell us your story.
Yeah, good question. And like I said, my story is a bit unique because of the invention reality show, so that definitely opened the door for me.
Okay.
But I would say that's all it did was give me that first little, and in fact, in a lot of ways, I struggled more because of it, because based on the show that I was on, I had thought that by winning, you were going to have your product manufactured by them and the whole shebang. So
Okay.
here I won, and part of being on the show was when the show aired, which was going to be in a few months, that day after the show, it would say, turn the channel now to HSN to see Marcy selling her product live on HSN. And so I'm thinking, of course, they're going to make it for me. This is my first invention. I don't know what I'm doing. I just have a great idea that I think everyone's going to love. And, the cameras shut down, the production was over, and I'm waiting for the calls for this to happen. And the clock is ticking. We're getting closer to the air date. And I'm like, how on earth are we going to do this? And so I finally kind of, I was pretty discouraged and I picked myself up and dusted myself off and said, Marcy, you've got to figure this thing out because this is your one chance.
All right.
And I got scrappy and I made phone calls I would have never dreamed that I would have made. I actually reached out to Joy Mangano, who many of you might know is sort of the queen of home shopping. Her name was really synonymous with HSN, and the products that she creates are a lot like the ones that I create. And I thought, well, this is a risk, but I'm going to call her and see if maybe she knows of a manufacturer that might be able to make this thing for me. And she was wonderful, and she helped me out. And I tell that story because I think so many times as inventors or in any career, we're afraid to make that daunting phone call. And I'm always amazed at how helpful people are when you just make the call.
I'm glad you said that. She is absolutely wonderful. I had an opportunity to interview her, and she didn't know who I was. And the following Christmas, she sent me a bottle of champagne.
Oh
And
my
she
gosh.
wrote me the most, and I have it on my shelf, and she wrote me the nicest note. And I'm thinking, wow, she was helping me. I mean, why would she even remember me? So she's really, I'm not surprised. So she
That's
helped
great.
you. She gave you some tips and advice, but you go from, I have an idea, I'm going to manufacture it and ship it and sell it on TV. That's a lot to do very quickly.
Yes, and that's how it was. It
Okay.
was overdrive, not a lot of sleep, doing everything I could to learn everything I felt like I needed to know. But of
Okay.
course, I tell people it really, inventing for me is like that whack-a-mole game at an
All right.
arcade where it's just one obstacle after the
Okay.
next. And just when you think you find a great manufacturing partner, XYZ happens. And it's just, I'm reading a book right now called Believe It by, it's about the story of It Cosmetics, which is one of the biggest cosmetic companies in the world. And she really talks on it, so aligns with my thinking about the importance of knowing your why
Okay.
when you're creating, because that
Oh,
that is the thing that's going to keep you, knocking down those obstacles and putting one foot in front of the other every single day until you get there.
okay. Explain that for everybody. What do you mean knowing the why? Explain that.
So what is the reason when you really get to the core, not because you think it's a great idea or not
Okay.
because you want to make a lot of money, is, deep in your heart, why do you want to create this product? Is it going to make a difference for people in some significant way? Or are you on the verge of bankruptcy and you have no choice but to make this thing successful? Or
Okay.
what is it for you? For me, at the time, my husband's career took a turn where his industry went on strike and he wasn't allowed to work.
Okay.
And I was a stay at home mom with three
All
kids, and
right.
I have a special needs boy. And I just was panicked and was like, I had been keeping this binder of inventions, well, I would say since I was like 16 or 17 years old, of all these ideas that I thought someday I'll dust this binder off and bring one of them to life. And when that happened and our bank account was going down and down and
All
there was
right.
no idea when he'd be allowed to work again, I just said, this is it, I'm doing this. And I opened my binder and I picked one and just decided failure was not an option. And so on those days when
Okay.
I would get, down and out, I would go back to that why and remember that my son, and
Okay.
just the things that drove me, or what to this day got me the success that I have.
Okay. Let's
I have good ideas, but they're no better than anybody else's. It's that perseverance and that determination, I think.
okay. Let's talk about your products for just a minute.
Sure.
How do you create them? Do you create them for yourself? This is something I want and I know other people are going to want, or do you read reviews? How do you do that? How do you come up with those ideas?
Kind of all of the above, but I would say for me, they do really start with me. The product that I went on the Kelly Ripa show with, it was just a very real problem I was having in my household.
Right.
The product was called the Style and Go Hair Care Valet, and it was a wall-mounted cabinet, sort of like a restoration hardware looking cabinet that was designed to store and organize all of your hair care appliances,
Okay.
anything electrical. So there was a built-in power source, and there were hanging mechanisms for each item and cord management. So in my household, my husband would go nuts with all the cords in the bathroom
Right.
and my curling iron in his sink to cool off. And
Right.
it was just this constant battle. And I thought there's got to be a better way. And there were, kind of real rinky dink things at Bed Bath and Beyond that, solved one problem, but not the whole shebang. And so that was the impetus for that particular invention. But, before going to that next level, I need to know that it's not just a problem that I'm having. So many people say that the riches are in the niches, and there is definitely some truth to that in some ways. But in my world, in the home shopping world, the riches are not in the niches. We need to
Okay.
know that this is going to have a mass market appeal, that the problem I'm having, other people are having too.
So how do
So
you? Okay. So you come up with this idea that you have, and you think it's a large market. Is there any way of testing it? I mean, is it a gut instinct? Do you show it to your husband, or you show it to some of your friends? How do you say, I'm going with this one? How do you know?
Well, I think we all start there with we want to show our husband and our friends and our family. But the truth is, we all know that they're going to tell us what we want to hear. They love us. They want us, they want to make us happy.
All right.
So the more experienced I get, the less I even go to them anymore, because I know that they mean well, but I need to know, is someone going to reach in their pocket and actually take the money out and actually pay for this product? So I do a lot of market research. You mentioned reviews. I love going on Amazon. One of the first things I do is look at my category and look at products that are within the category. And first of all, how are they selling? You kind of know how they're selling based on some of the reviews, although you will see ones that have 15,000 reviews and that's probably bogus. So, you kind of err in the middle somewhere. But looking at the bad reviews, I love that because that shows me what people are not liking about a particular product. So if I'm in that category, I know what needs to be solved within that category. As time's gone on, I've learned the importance of, I do use SurveyMonkey sometimes to get a feel for the interest in a product, but not only in the interest, but what key features would they want to see? What would make them spend the money, and how much would they spend if it was available? Okay. And then also even understanding where they would want to buy it and what that buying process looks like. Okay. So that's really helpful. I also am starting to test products with landing pages. So where you can create a landing page, and maybe you all already know about this, but that sort of makes the product look like it already exists. So I believe in doing photorealistic 3D renderings if I don't have a legitimate prototype or the product's not ready to go, and putting those up with putting together a really great features and benefits sell page, and you have a buy now button, and I just want to know how many people are going to click that buy now button, and that lets me know whether this is something worth going for.
Smart. You're so smart to do all this, to do all these things.
A lot of trial and error, for sure.
Great information. Thank you.
Yeah.
The way that you're looking at it, from the reviews to do a little testing, not asking your friends, that's just great stuff. Okay. Let's talk about, you do a lot of on air yourself, right?
I do all my products myself on air. Yeah.
Now, how do you, okay, now let's back up here. Okay. So you get into the industry, and you're making products, you're showing it on the home shopping channel, but now you're pitching yourself. How do you go from I'm an inventor, I've got this problem, I'm going to manufacture, I'm going to ship it, but now I'm on air. How do you become a TV personality? Because that's kind of what that is, right? You're a salesperson, they got to like you. How do you do that?
That is the $1 million question. And that was the scariest thing in the world for me when I found out I won, and oh my God, now I've got to go on television and actually do this. And it is a bit daunting. There's cameras everywhere, and you've got the numbers there, and you've got the producer in your ear. The hardest thing about it is how fast the time goes. And before I went on, I thought, oh my God, what am I going to say for I was on, I think 8 minutes was my first one. And I'm thinking it's going to feel like forever. And it felt like 30 seconds. And when you're on, every single second counts. And so you have to use your time so wisely. And so thinking about what that is, obviously before going on is really, really important. And then, having chemistry with the host. And it's that three-way conversation. Home shopping is a very personal experience for the consumer. She feels like she's sitting there in the living room with you and you're talking to her about the product. So, it's taken time for sure. It wasn't amazing when I first started at all. But as time's gone on, I've realized how important that personal connection is. And I feel really lucky. I've found, and I recommend this for all inventors, I've really found some Facebook groups that are my customer. I've learned who my customer is, and I'm interacting with them every day and understanding what they like and what they don't like. I even have them help me pick colors for products and, make them a part of my design process. And so that's been really great. So then when I'm on air, I feel like I'm talking to them, and it's just very comfortable.
Did they help you when you started? Did they test it? Did they do not everybody can do that. All right. So did they look at you and go, wow, we've listened to you in a meeting, you should be on camera? How did they finally go, you should be on camera? And did they help you at all? Did they give you tips and advice? Because all those minutes count. You're right.
Yeah, definitely. And you do go through training that's required. Right. So, I'm trying to remember how long it was. I think it was a 2-day training.
Okay.
And so you do learn a lot, and you do practice on camera.
Thank you, because they're watching this going, this seems impossible. Okay, so thank you for mentioning
Yes.
that. There is a little training. Thank you.
Yes.
All
And
right.
so, I think during that training, you'll know whether it's going to work for you or not.
All right.
And so I think you could always shift gears at that point. And there are people that will do it for hire. You can pay them to represent your brand. I always think it's best if if you get the chance to be on Home Shopping, for you to do it yourself.
Okay.
It's just, again, it's that personal connection, and it's your story, and it's your baby, and no one is going to have that passion for the product that you're going to have. And that's really comes across, I think.
Great stuff. Thank you so much. Everyone, Stephen Key here, InventRightTV. Follow Marcy. We're going to put information down below so you can contact her, follow her. She's got a YouTube channel. If you're interested in learning about all this, follow her. She's going to give all the good stuff. Marcy, thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephen.
There's a great idea in each of us. But it's truly magical to see it come to life. Sharing your creativity with the world has never been easier. We can help.